Matt LaFleur sound with heavy metal attached to it. Here is Matt LaFleur talking about the Packers' logic in the draft.
Yeah, you never quite know what to expect. I think in terms of the draft, a lot of people you don't know what you have for a couple of years, usually. Typically, I mean, that's how it goes. And a lot of times it gets heavily criticized but ultimately, he and his staff do a great job of evaluating guys. And it was just an opportunity to go get the guy that we all thought was the best player at the time.
Okay, wait. I asked Marvin, I said, Matt LaFleur.
Yeah, he's singing slightly off time there. I don't know if that was by design. But...
Down with the sickness.
What is it? Is that Wayne's World? Okay.
Trent Reznor's podcast?
I don't know what happened there because all of a sudden we had music in there. I just said to Marvin, who gathers the sound, I said, Marv, Matt LaFleur had a conference call, and he talked about drafting Jordan Love.
He had it at the studio, though, where they were laying down some tracks.
Okay, let me hear it again.
Yeah, you never quite know what to expect. I think in terms of the draft, a lot of people you don't know what you have for
it's
a couple
more
of
of
years,
a
usually. Typically, I mean, that's
Leonard
how
Cohen
it goes.
spoken word
and a lot
thing.
of times it gets heavily criticized, but ultimately, he and his staff do a great job of evaluating guys, and it was just an opportunity to go get the guy that.
All right. Okay. I didn't hear a word that Matt LaFleur said. I just was listening to the music there. Paulie, could you ask Marvin how we came up with this?
I don't think Marvin added it in. That'd be really weird.
I know, but if he knew it was going to be there, wouldn't he have given me the heads up?
Oh,
hey,
no,
by the way.
That's actually good producing by Marvin.
Oh,
he told us.
No. He's not producing. No, that was unintentional. Yes, McLovin.
So is that where there's a highlight running on or something? So you have to put music when there's a highlight in TV? But this was a radio interview. So why?
Oh, I have no idea what happened there because it's so disconcerting. I don't even know what Matt LaFleur said. Here I was all set for this impactful, I'm going to pile on the Packers here, and then I get dun 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 dun. All right. Well, during the break, I'll ask Marvin, what was he thinking when he heard that? That maybe you should give me a heads up that maybe you don't want to use this?
I think they're onto something.
No.
I think so.
What happened?
So, like a good employee, you said, Marvin, can you grab some Matt LaFleur sound? I said, sure. Got right on it. And I went to CBS Sports HQ and got the sound, and it was underneath. And it was real quick. I just handed you the...
Did you listen to it?
Could you take one step there, just for Marvin, so they can see you scolding him?
I did. And
you listened to it?
I did.
And you knew that music was there?
I did.
And so why did we air that? Could you tell what Matt LaFleur was saying throughout that soundbite?
No, not one bit. Nope. I heard best player available.
Now, who put that music on there?
Oh, that was them because I looked.
Wait, so CBS put that music on the soundbite?
Yes, as if it was Sports Center via 1997. They put the music underneath. And
I know, I was there.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't know that. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if we should talk to
CBS?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking to you.
Oh, okay.
We shouldn't have aired it.
But I'm trying to put this on someone else.
I realize
okay. All right.
And normally you blame Dylan or Tyler.
Yeah.
Mario is right in there. He always screws up. Why is everybody left? Did everybody want to get out of here because you were going to get yelled at?
30 seconds.
And now you have another piece of sound from Matt LaFleur?
I do. No music. None. This is from ESPN Milwaukee, not CBS Sports HQ. Sorry, Dan.
what is the sort of the parameters here or the framework here from each side of what they hope to get? Let me start with the Kansas City Chiefs. What would be ideal for them to get with Patrick Mahomes?
Long-term employment of Patrick Mahomes. I think that is the goal from the team for sure. I think that, these talks have been going on, and I think that there's mutual ground here. Patrick wants to be with the Chiefs. The Chiefs obviously want him here long-term. He'll be the highest paid player in the league. I think that's a wrap. It's just a matter of structure and figuring out exactly how to do it.
But also, if you're Patrick Mahomes and his agent, what is your strategy of how long and how much, and then get that second? He'll get another contract too. That's going to be a big one before he's even 30.
Yeah, and I want to be clear. Like Chris Cabot, who is leading the negotiations on Patrick's side, he's been ice quiet. The insight that I'm getting is from other people in the business, and it is tantalizing for them because this is a possibility to really change future negotiations. I mean, the thing that comes up when you talk to anybody in football, really agents especially, is nobody has ever had this kind of leverage. League MVP the first year, Super Bowl MVP the second year of playing, obviously set the first year, and he's 24 years old. He's changed a franchise, kind of turned them from sort of a perennial postseason heartbreaker to a possible next dynasty, and the Chiefs. So he's got them. He can ask for whatever he wants, and that's what people keep talking about. Like, is this the time that something gets tied to a percentage of the salary cap? That's something that some agents have wanted for a long time, and teams have always resisted. Is it just a full guarantee? I know Kirk Cousins did that a couple of years ago, but this, Patrick's numbers would obviously dwarf that. So it's sort of, I think what people around the game are looking at is not just the bottom line money, which will be enormous, but it's also what kind of new precedents can be set that can help other players.
But if you tie it to the salary cap, and if I'm going to follow what you pointed out in your column, let's say the salary cap goes down 25%.
Yeah.
Mahomes' salary then will go down, but then it will go up exponentially with the long-term possibilities with the new TV deal and gambling involved in the NFL. Correct?
Yeah. I mean, there's risk on both sides if you do that, for sure.
Kansas City's going to have some big ticket items, and Chris Jones, who could have been the MVP of the Super Bowl, he might be a guy who, has to pay the price for Mahomes getting his money.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, these are smart points that you're making. They how these contracts work. Like, you can actually create some short-term contract space or some short-term payroll space with a long-term deal with Chris Jones, right? Like, he's on the hook for, what is it, 16 million, something like that, under the franchise tag. You can create some short-term cap space by giving him a long-term deal. But the Chiefs are in a really, it's a good problem. It's one of these good problems to have because they're paying good players. But, there was a moment, I think a week or two before the draft, where the Chiefs had $177 of cap
I know.
not 177 grand, $177. They could not go out to eat as in a big group with that. So, they've got some hard decisions. But again, I mean, these are the problems that you want, right? Like, you want the problem to be like, how can we tie up, the best player in the game long term?
It's Friday day. Interstitial! When does it come crashing down here? Are these sustainable? What happens when LeBron's gone from the game? Is there enough star power there? When Gretzky left the NHL, things changed. Because of Gretzky, you had hockey in the South. You had expansion. When LeBron goes, let's say in 5 years, what's the NBA look like? Now, you're going to have Zion in there. You have the Greek Freak. But who are those must-see stars that you'll tune in and watch? Because that's what the NBA is built on. You got to have those stars there. You're not watching John Wall. Damian Lillard's a wonderful player. I don't know if he's must-see TV to people. James Harden is still going to be fascinating. Greek Freak will still be in there. Steph Curry will be out of the league probably in 5 years. Zion will be must-see TV. You get LaMelo Ball coming into the NBA. Might be the first overall pick. I don't know if he's going to be must-see TV. James Wiseman, who was at Memphis for a cup of coffee, not must-see TV. Edwards out of Georgia, probably not must-see TV. Yeah, McLovin.
Did you say Trey Young? I know you're a Trey Young guy.
Trey Young would be, and Luka. Yeah,
Luka's pretty good. Yeah.
No, Luka's must-see TV, and so is Trey Young.
But you're saying they're not singular like LeBron or Jordan.
No. I'm just curious about that. When the next TV deal, what's that going to look like? Because that's when you started guys getting money where they probably had to go, you got to be kidding me. They're going to pay me that amount. Are you kidding me? Sign it quickly. Yeah, I'm clubbing.
Didn't the ratings sort of go down because LeBron went to the West Coast time frame?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. That up in support of me versus Jay Billis. So she sent that in.
Should we frame it?
It's still, smell that. It's still got the magic marker smell.
Ooh. Let's sniff that later. By the way, I've been watching these segments at home for the last 3 months. I'm actually here to see you guys live.
Penny got some treats. This is Susan and Braden McCondry. They're Penny lovers. See if Fritzy would book the legendary Lionel Richie to sing one of his classics, Penny Lover. Uncle Dan Patrick. All right. Got some more treats in there. Here's some of my dog treats for your dog Penny. My dad listens to your show every day. That's Bellamy in Billings, Montana. And we got some treats there. Well, thank you, Bellamy. I like that.
You guys remember when the Dan Estes gets stuff mailed into him? Now it's all Penny.
I picked this up and I said, boy, this feels like a bobblehead, but it feels like a bobblehead in pieces. It's a Maury Wills bobblehead doll, and it really wasn't packed great. So I apologize, but I'll give you a shout out. This is John Marana. It's a 2011 All-Star Game Cactus Maury Wills bobblehead. Well, it was, not anymore. And
1 minute.
There you go. Your results may vary. Yeah, that's not good. What else do we have? Oh, another patch here. Love the patches. Leachfield, Kentucky, I believe. That's John, 5'7", a plump 245. Suck it back row. Hate the chat row. Wow. Okay.
30.
Okay, that's Alan yelling at me. I interrupted Alan cooking our mahi-mahi. Somebody sent me a lot of fake money. Let's see. Hand out the millions to the Danettes. This is from Christopher.
15.
Thank you, Christopher. Got $1 million. Sort of. Here's another one. This is from Jay and Jeannie Kerner in St. Joseph's, Missouri. Oh, I gotta go back to work. The NBA has always had this sort of lingering suspicion about a lot of things. You know, accusations, a former official, and the Patrick Ewing lottery. I was there for the Patrick Ewing lottery. And you're just watching this, and I just remember watching Dave DeBuscher's face because he was so excited. Former Knicks great, but he was so excited. And if you, and maybe you don't understand, maybe if you're not old enough to understand, you know, Patrick Ewing was really, really famous. This was a big deal getting Patrick Ewing in New York, marquee franchise. And I just remember saying, somebody said it in such a cynical way, and I'm going, well, there's no, what? Well, what if they somehow fix the lottery? I go, they can't. How do you fix the lottery? And then somebody says, well, what if you put an envelope and it's cold? And I go, so then I'm going back and, you know, like CSI NBA, and I'm going, wait a minute, slow it down. And I'm looking to see if, you know, the commissioner's hand is, and I'm going, I can't. I love sports too much. I just can't go this conspiracy theory. Can't go that deep on it. But, man, it exists. It still exists. And that's you can't bring, once again, the late, great David Stern. He'd be yelling at me right now. Rebecca Lowe, NBC Sports Premier League host, and the Premier League is coming back on NBC Sports Wednesday, June 17th. She also hosts the new Breakfast with Bex digital series. It's always great to see and hear from Rebecca Lowe. Did we acquire you? Are you a U.S. citizen?
Damn it. How I'm not, considering the amount of times you tried to get me to become one over the course of the last 7 years. I'm still not, but we are edging closer by the month to the day when I'm free to apply. So just hold your horses.
Okay, all right. Now, can I help speed it up? Because I know people. I got David Faraday. That was a great acquisition by the United States. We got David Faraday.
Whatever you can do to acquire me, Dan, I'm yours.
All right. I've heard that before. How is Teddy, your son?
Teddy is great. Would you believe, Dan, he turned 4 years old during lockdown, which is crazy because I was just talking to you in the wardrobe room. That sounds weird, but you know what I mean. It sounds like yesterday with him in my belly. So he is good. He's back at school. His school's open. So that's great for him because we had him out for like 8 weeks, and obviously it's tough when you're little because all they care about is playgrounds, and they're full of yellow tape, or they were full of yellow tape. And that's all he cared about. When is the yellow tape coming down? When can I go back to school, see my friends? Because their little mental health is just as important as your and I mental health. So he is doing really well, much better now. He's back with his little pals.
I saw that you were hosting Breakfast with Bex, and I have to admit, I thought it was with David Beckham, and I tuned in and I went, where's Bex? And then I go, oh no, it's Rebecca Lowe. So I love seeing you. I'm not disappointed. It was a little bit of an adjustment there.
Dan, I'm disappointed, but to be quite honest, when you've got the same name as one of the most famous footballers in the world, I just use it. I've just got to use it to get those followers. I've got to get those viewers. And let's not get too excited about Breakfast with Bex. I feel like we're making this slightly bigger than it is. It's really just very, very lowbrow broadcasting. So let's just calm down about Breakfast with Bex.
Okay. All right. The fact that the Premier League is coming back, it's a foregone conclusion that Liverpool is winning. Is the Premier League coming back for Liverpool?
That's a great question, and that is a question that no one's asked me, which is amazing. No, it's not just going back for Liverpool, because actually that's about the only foregone conclusion that there is, in that they're 6 points away, 2 victories at the most away from winning it for the first time in 30 years. So no, because that's going to happen. It's coming back for a myriad of reasons. First and foremost, to try and save not just the Premier League clubs, Dan, but as you know, because you know football so well, underneath the Premier League, there are 4 professional leagues. And then underneath them, there are about 5 semi-pro leagues, right? And it's a pyramid. And without the bottom of the pyramid, there is no top of the pyramid. So everyone needs to help each other. And the clubs below the Premier League are really struggling, really, really struggling. And they need money from the Premier League, and it all filters down. So the Premier League has to come back to try and help football stay alive in the UK. And football to us is like the NBA, MLB, and NFL, NHL, and MLS all mixed in together in the US. That's how big it is. So it's a huge announcement, and it'll have a huge impact on the country. As I know, it sounds very trivial to say, oh, it'll lift the nation, but it really will lift a huge portion of the nation being able to watch football on television again. And boy, will they be able to, because all 92 games for the first time ever, every single game is going to be available to them.
What about crowd noise? I've mentioned a couple times on this show that I've actually listened to a little bit of the Bundesliga on radio, and the crowd noise helped the product. I wasn't offended where I go, it's fake noise. But what do you think is going to happen? What is NBC going to do with the Premier League?
Well, first of all, amazing pronunciation of Bundesliga. I mean, for somebody who is just a growing soccer fan, I just love that pronunciation. So
and it's Leicester City. It's not Leicester City. It's Leicester City.
Your team, isn't it? Isn't that? Oh, no, that was Man City. Anyway, I digress. We are in conversation, but I think you're right. I actually have watched some of the games from the Bundesliga, and with that pumped in sound effects, I've enjoyed it much more because, Dan, it's kind of the familiar noise in your ear. So whether you're making your breakfast or you're playing with the kids, but you've got it on in the background, just having that noise, you don't have to watch every second of the game, but just knowing it's there is the familiarity that we're all craving. We're all craving familiarity. We're all craving our old life. So that, for me, sort of fills that hole. I know it's artificial, but it didn't bother me like it didn't bother you. So I think that could be certainly on the table. Watching football with nothing at all is jarring. We would get used to it, and that's okay, and people will get used to that as well, because it's quite interesting hearing the players talk. But hopefully, we haven't finalised our plans yet, Dan, because of course we're in partnership with Sky Sports, so we are sort of having constant meetings about it, and I'm not yet privy to those. But I would have thought, I hope there'll be maybe some sort of option.
What has happened to Manchester United the last 5 years?
You just love picking out those big questions. They didn't plan. So they didn't, it's the last 7 years, they didn't plan. So when Sir Alex Ferguson retired, they didn't plan properly for a successor who could do what he did. And maybe the squad he left wasn't quite as strong as he made it look through his own immense, unprecedented talents. Therefore, anyone coming in is going to struggle, as Louis van Gaal did, as David Moyes did before him, as Jose Mourinho did. As a business, it's spent a lot of money that hasn't worked out. So there's a lot of disconnect between the fans, the board, the football side of things. But it is a humongous cruise ship, and it is just beginning to turn around. It is just, I feel, before lockdown, whether you're a fan of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the manager, or not, I'm personally not sure he's the future. But for right now, to start the cruise ship's turn, he's okay at the wheel for now.
She's Rebecca Lowe, NBC Sports Premier League host, and, of course, hosting the popular digital series Breakfast with Bex.
Stop it. Stop on the Breakfast with Bex, okay?
The biggest celebrity in the Premiership is who?
Wow. Probably Pep Guardiola.
Oh, so it's a coach or a manager at Manchester City.
I mean, I would say in terms of kind of status, yes, I would probably say Pep Guardiola is the absolute Hollywood glamour superstar. I mean, there's tons of superstars, but if you're talking the elite in terms, I would say Pep Guardiola. But you know, you've got Kevin De Bruyne, you've got Sergio Aguero. They're all massive names, Dan. I mean, virtually, I would say 70% of the Premier League are massive names. But Pep Guardiola has done it and done it over and over again. And he's done it in a way that no one's ever done it before in the style of football that he produces for his team. So right now, for me, I mean, it's faded a little bit with the emergence of Jurgen Klopp, who I spoke to this morning, actually, who's magic. So at the moment, there's the two managers, I would say, Klopp and Guardiola, yeah.
You know my favorite player?
Who?
Harry Kane!
People still talk to me about that interview when I was sitting there and you were laughing about you.
I love Didier Drogba, but I'm more of now it's Harry Kane, because they never say Kane. His name is always Harry Kane. Whenever he scores, Harry Kane.
We had this conversation though, because it has more punch, doesn't it? You can say Aguero, and just by itself is beautiful, but Kane, it just kind of like you've got to go Harry Kane, and he's just, and because we've talked about this before, he's a prince.
But also, it's like Tom Brady. It's right. Harry Kane, Tom Brady,
and they're really good friends. Did you know that?
They are. They're
really good friends because Harry's a huge New England Patriots fan, and I think that's who Tom Brady plays for.
Not anymore.
Well, not anymore. I knew that. But they're super BFFs. So yeah, and Harry's a legend, and he's England captain. Everyone loves him. So
okay, I watched the documentary series on Sunderland Till I Die.
Oh, how good is that, Dan?
I thought it was brilliantly done, spectacular. Just the passion in that city and what that football team means to that city. You know, we talk about life and death. You know, we throw that around here in the United States. It felt like it's life and death for those fans and the importance. And then they kept getting relegated, and you could just see that it changed their lives. It was changing the city right before your very eyes.
And Dan, out of interest, is that at all comparative to anything in the US? I mean, were you surprised with how much that club runs through that city?
I don't think so, unless I looked at maybe the Philadelphia Eagles with their fan base and what that team means to them. And I'm sure Dallas, but Dallas, it's a little bit different. I mean, Sunderland is this shipping city, and it's not a wealthy city at all. They're really reliant on the economy there and their football team. But I came away going, and I hate saying it, but I did say it. You don't have to be a soccer fan to love it, because it's really just about personalities, relationships, and the hopes and dreams that you have as a sports fan.
I think hope is the word. I mean, we all at the beginning of every season, as a football fan or as a sports fan, you just live in hope, don't you? It's all about, maybe this year will be my year. Maybe this year will be okay. Maybe we won't be rubbish this year. And Sunderland, as you say, kept falling down the divisions, and they were taken over by different people and who had their best interest in. And all the way through it, the common denominator is the fans. The same people, the taxi driver guy, the guy at home, the same people going to the games, no matter who's in charge and no matter who's playing. And like you say, it affects their lives. And that documentary gives you an insight as to why it's so important that we get football back in the UK, because those people, and there are millions of them like those Sunderland fans, they're lost, Dan. They're lost by what's happening anyway, and they're lost by having the huge part of their life taken away from them. So, of course, it's a terrible time, and we would never forget that, and we must never forget that, and that will remain the constant theme now for a long time. But there's nothing wrong with being happy and joyful that something that means a huge amount to you is coming back into your life. I think that's okay. It's a tough balance, and we're going to have to strike it when I go back on air in a couple of weeks, of striking that balance between poignancy and sadness and what's going on in the world, and joy and excitement for something separate from that.
And once again, people make this mistake. West Ham, their nickname is not the Wankers. It's right. So,
oh my God, Dan.
Paulie always brings this up. He said, "You got to ask Rebecca."
That was their old nickname, Dan.
The Wankers, and I said,
guys, stop. You've got to right. I'm not going to come on your show if you continue to use that word. I've told you about that word. It's not even on television in England until after 10:30 at night, and even then, you won't even find it. It's horrendously rude, and it's just stop already.
Paulie, will you stop with that?
My bad.
Paulie,
stop saying wanker. All right.
Stop.
I had to remind him what he was saying, and he shouldn't be saying it. And I'm sick of that, Paulie.
My bad.
Everything's a joke when it comes to the Premier League.
It's a Liverpool. I'm all messed up.
Yeah, Paulie's Liverpool squad is going to win. Is there any chance that Liverpool doesn't win?
No.
Okay.
If it did, it would be literally the most incredible story of all time. Then we'll make a documentary out of that.
It's great to see you, and I hope Teddy's behaving, and we look forward to the Premier League returning to NBC Sports on Wednesday, June 17th. And, of course, the popular digital series Sweeping the Nation, Sweeping the World, Breakfast with Bex. It's David Beckham and Rebecca Lowe drinking Beck's beer. It's a whole lot of fun.
There you go. And you say the Premier League the same way as you've been saying it for the last 7 years. And that, Dan, the way you say that gives me great joy.
Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca.
Goodbye.
That's Rebecca Lowe, NBC Sports Premier League.
20.
Hey. Mahi, a corn relish, and I think we had some aioli.
Sweet.
I love aioli.
But
Nice aioli. Let's just dive in.
Well, hold on, because things have changed since you guys haven't been here the last month and a half.
What do you mean?
Wow. Guys who are here, they get to eat, and then the guys who are working behind the scenes, or if they're not here, then it's spoken.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah. So,
are you trying to 12-15 us right now?
I was gonna, I think I should 12-15
you 12-15 us?
Feels like that.
Wow. That doesn't feel very nice.
Things have changed though around here.
Yeah.
What is it? Aioli sauce. According to Dan, I don't know.
Exciting.
It's a mahi.
You're going outside in case.
Yeah, just in case.
I respect that.
Keep it real. Oh, yeah.
You know how they do it at the restaurant? They give you 4 drops.
Yeah.
Bothers me a lot.
Yeah, it's more decorative than. This is nice.
Oh, wow.
Lovely.
It's great.
You guys have missed a couple of really,
Bangers.
yeah, really good.
What was the one? What's Italian beef sandwiches?
Yeah, those are great.
Those are the best. Yeah.
I'm really not trying to rub it in.
No.
I am.
I've had that here before. That's one of Alan's best.
Yeah, he nails it.
See, I like the decorative.
The swizzle?
Yeah.
1 minute to look at.
If you're going to go to a great restaurant, I like that they.
Food had better come with a decorative swizzle.
Yeah, I mean the food's going to be good. Any little bit of decorative swizzle.
Just show a little more of the visual artistry.
I like the steak. Now I got to go back in.
Oh.
Fritzy, what did you learn today?
Rebecca Lowe would ask that you stop using the word wanker while she's a guest on the program.
You didn't have to use it.
I didn't. Snuck that in there.
McLovin?
Harry Kane and Tom Brady are good buddies.
Harry Kane. Seton O'Connor.
Tom's Escalade might be a little overpriced.
I think so. Paulie?
Chicken of the Sea started in 1932 as a way to market tuna to people.
Why wasn't just tuna good enough? Chicken of the Sea?
It worked. They said it's one of the most powerful brand campaigns of all time.
What did I learn today, Todd?
In the last 104 NFL situations, the onside kicking team has won 0 times.
LegalZoom makes it easy to set up the right estate plan without leaving your home. Take care of your family today with the right estate plan at LegalZoom.com. Need to make it legal, make it LegalZoom.com. Have a safe weekend, everybody. Talk to you Monday here on The Dan Patrick Show.